Good evening. My name is Tom Popcheff. I'm the president of the Speedway Redevelopment Commission, and I would like to call to order the February 19th, 2018 regular session of the Redevelopment Commission. What I'd like to do now is take a roll call so we confirm we have a quorum. Gordon?
Here.
Brody?
Here.
Here.
Rhonda?
I'm here.
Terry? Great, we do have a quorum. That's been established. I'd also like to introduce our staff. Tim Gropp on my far right. He's our Economic Development Director for the town of Speedway. Tim Ramian, who's in the audience, is our Executive Assistant. And then we also have guests here, Tim Jensen, who is with the Veritas Group, and also Bob Clutter, who is counsel to the SRC. So the first item that we have on the agenda is the confirmation, we have public comment. I would like to open the lectern to anyone who would like to make a comment to the commission this evening. Everybody's very shy this evening. David, you don't have any comments?
Not this time.
Okay, you made all yours last month. Great, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the meeting minutes for a regular session of January 22nd, 2018. And those minutes had been previously distributed to the commission members. Anybody have any edits, suggestions, comments relative to last month's meeting minutes? Well, hearing none, we'll go ahead and accept those by consent. The next item is the approval of claims and expenses for the commission, and they have been distributed in our packet for the commission members to review. Tim, would you like to address any of the items on the expenses?
Yeah,
claims?
we received several late invoices and had a couple corrections on a few, so we tried to pull those together, and then unfortunately our clerk treasurer was sick today, so we tried to put those together. So everything on the general claims is fine, the ones that are per contract and just monthly expenses.
Okay.
On the submitted claims, I think what we'll do is Barnes and Thornburg, Wilcox, Veritas, London, Whitty are all, and then see, we have three different ones out here right now.
Yeah.
So the one that came from Monty late that we didn't see prior to the meeting, we're not sure the Bose McKinney ones are the proper ones because they send both the towns and the SRCs together. I think there's one that's confused here. So if we hold up, I would approve these, and then he also left off the UHQ construction bid. So I would recommend that we approve the UHQ construction bid, which was the roofing of next to 1426 there. We want to make sure they get paid. They did a nice job on that. And that the general alcohol permit and the economic development bond expense from Bose McKinney, but I would take off the land acquisition one. So if you'd like me to.
Yeah, ours aren't.
Yours is different.
There's no description.
Okay,
You
so
have the
basically,
Yeah.
yours is fine if we add the London Whitty invoice for $1,461.25.
What was that amount again?
$1,461.25.
To London Whitty.
Yeah, sorry for the confusion. We got, like I said, we got some late bills and tried to pull it all together.
So are you pulling out the Bose McKinney?
No, the one that you guys have in front of you actually is correct.
Is correct.
So if you add the,
Bose McKinney and 134620 is accurate.
yeah, so the total would be $25,530.95.
Okay.
Okay? That'll be correct. Apologize for the confusion on that.
Okay.
So yeah, I would approve the two with the addition of the London Whitty expense.
Okay.
This is the same one that was emailed then?
Correct. That one has not changed.
See, we have the closing of the IPL property, well, Main Street on this.
Yes, everything went
expenditure
smoothly
sheet.
there.
Good, good. Anything else you'd like to point out? Claims and expenses?
Everything was pretty straightforward this time. Like I said, they finished the roofing repair. We had to wait for some specialty flashing, so that's what took so long there.
Any of the commission members have any questions of Tim? Well, then I'll entertain a motion to accept the claims and expenses.
I move that we accept the claims and expenses as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion, have a second?
I'll second that motion.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 We might sign yours.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. Great, thank you. Next item on our agenda is the project updates. And I believe we'll hear from Tim on the Wilshaw Project.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Again, we're here every month to report to you on the single largest project that's going on in Speedway right now, which is clearly an iconic one there at the corner of Crawfordsville Road and 16th and Main, all there in that corner of the roundabout. I know it doesn't look like there's a lot going on, but there's a lot going on out there. And soon, actually probably within the next 2 months prior to May, you'll start to see some things go vertical out there. So obviously we've been hit with some wet weather here and probably will for the next week or two. But what's happening there now is all the utility relocations are happening. So you probably saw some road closings and some other things happening there on 16th Street in Maine and everywhere else where they cut the duct bank through IPL. Those power lines will probably be dropped in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So then there's been some other water and telephone and different things being rerouted as well. We do want to officially and publicly apologize for the water main issue that happened last week, I believe it was. The developer was not aware that the water was off up and down Main Street in many cases until they got it closed down with staff's approval and whatnot. And so, but they worked very quickly to get it back on as fast as they could and keep everybody minimized on downtime. But there was some valves that either weren't functioning or weren't closing correctly when they did their work out there. So that's done and completed and it's been fixed.
O'Reilly's Irish Pub was probably the most affected by
Correct.
that, and they were really great through the whole thing, and we appreciate that.
Yeah. Good.
So you're going to start to see some stuff come through here as well. So the hotel is in completion or it's right at the very end of its design phase, and so we'll be getting some documents for you guys all to review on that very soon. And then as I informed your director here recently, is that the bonding process will begin here probably in the next couple weeks to start bringing that through, because what that triggers then is the hotel construction start. And so they expect that to start in April as well. So there'll be even a lot more activity out there during the month of May, which I think can be a very good thing and kind of show that we're
Actually
actively
makes some progress,
yeah,
yeah.
actively making progress on that.
And all the approvals are in place for the bond. It's just actually going
Correct.
through
Sure,
the
going
actual
through the
issuance
process
portion.
of closing the
And
transaction.
so in the actual issuance, you'll actually see the final numbers, because we've been playing in these kind of theoretical numbers for a long time.
Yeah, for quite some time.
And until they actually sell the bond on the market and market it, they won't know what those numbers really look like. So,
Great, thank you. I think they're making some great progress. I mean, particularly with some of the delays we experienced and, the extensions of the economic development agreement. So thank you for the
You're welcome.
report. Any of you have any questions of Tim relative to the Wilshaw project? Great, thank you. Now I'll turn to Tim Gropp for an update on the 2500 project.
Yeah, so we're still working on the due diligence. Things are coming along nicely. We've received back some analysis on the zoning up in the area and what's there now, different routes we could take. So we're excited to see that, and I think I sent that out to the SRC for just to kind of take a look at. It was a nicely put together document. Most of the engineering aspects are close to completed, and we'll get a report out of those when we meet. The SRC and Town Council meet on March 1st at that time, and then that's when we'll start really talking about design and what we like to see there as well. And then hopefully shortly after that, we'll get a public input session set up that we can announce to everybody to get public input on the project as well. But we're getting a lot of information on the property, on what's going to be needed, and starting to put some numbers together from an engineering aspect. Some of the bigger concerns that have come up is stormwater retention, and there's some flooding issues there now, so try and address that if we redo that property up there. So those are not cheap fixes, so I'm excited and
A little
cautious
apprehensive at times.
in a way of knowing what we're dealing with, but I'm sure there's going to be some pretty large expenses on infrastructure improvement costs up in that area, but
Right.
we're going to have those numbers back soon. And then once we go through the next step, which is, what do we want to see developed out there, we can put the, what would be the income side of that together and see how well they match.
Okay. Any of the commission members have any further questions of Tim relative to 2500 North High School? Great, thank you very much for your report. The next item on our agenda is the public hearing for resolution number 2018-01, the first resolution of the calendar year. And this is a realignment of properties within the first TIF district. And what I'd like to do is ask Tim to give just a brief overview. This has come up in the past couple of SRC meetings that we've held, and now we've finally come to the passage of the resolution. So Tim, you want to give the audience a brief overview?
Yeah, so this is the final step in the amendment process for our TIF districts. When I came on board, they charged me with taking a look at our TIF districts, see if there were any changes to make. This is actually a fairly minor change, but as we all know, the state likes to change the TIF laws over time. And also you change, you complete projects, you add new projects, and you want different uses with your TIF dollars. So it's really a living document in a lot of ways, so every once in a while you have to make an amendment. This one involves a change, when you first created this back in 2007 or so, residential parcels didn't really affect you either way. And there was a change in the state level where you still don't collect anything from residential parcels, but they now count against your base numbers. So there's no value to having those residential parcels in here. So what we've done is we didn't have a lot of residential, but the strip from on North 10th Street along all the way from Lyndhurst to just next to Big Woods, we've decided to remove from the allocation area, which is mostly residential, a few churches, and there's a few commercial properties. We took out the commercial properties as well, just for continuity reasons. And then there were just a couple that I'm sure were probably errors in the first place. There were a couple parcels that were randomly placed. So we'll be removing those as well. So that was the main point. It's a very minimal impact on anybody. We lose about $2,500, and overall tax impacts about $7,000 total, or $7 or $8,000.
Sure.
So not a very impact for the change. The other two things that this resolution affects are the personal property designated users, which helps us identify who we collect on our personal property side. So when it was set up, a lot of the personal properties were set up as one user per building, when you actually have to specifically say who you're going to be collecting from. So a lot of those businesses that had 2 or 3 surnames, we wanted to make sure that the intent was to collect that. We wanted to make sure we were actually collecting those funds.
Sure.
So we just tweaked some of the names that were in there. And the last thing is then, as I mentioned, updating the uses of TIF. So like I said, projects get completed, so you take those out. You add new projects that might come in, and then you also have to update the estimates for what you think those are going to cost. So we've made those changes as well in this amendment. So you're at the confirmatory resolution, so now you'll open it for public hearing and go from there.
So we will open it up for public hearing. Is there any comments from the public? Any questions relative to the amendment?
Public hearing opens at 6:14.
6:14. So hearing no comments, no questions from the audience, I will close the public hearing at 6:15. So now we're ready for a motion to accept resolution number 2018-01.
I'll make a motion to accept Resolution 2018-01, resolution of the Town of Speedway Redevelopment Commission confirming a resolution approving an amendment to the declaratory resolution and redevelopment plan for the Consolidated Redevelopment Area Number 1.
And you practiced that too, didn't you?
Mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
A lot of syllables in there.
Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, is there any further discussion for the commission regarding the amendment, the resolution? Hearing none, let's take it to a vote. All those in favor of accepting Resolution 2018-01, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Commissioners. So we've moved on to the next new business category, and what I'd like to do is are we going to have Mike and Margie?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce Mike and Margie Koyak. They have been providing services to the SRC in the development of our new website. And we've had the opportunity to take a look at the beta version, and I'm very excited about the site and its content and the maneuverability. It's excellent work, and I have to also thank Ryan for that. Ryan was very much involved with the development of the site. So, Mike, go ahead.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction, Mr. President. First of all, I'd just like to congratulate the Redevelopment Commission on the fantastic effort that you guys have put forward since 2005 or around there. It's hard to believe what this community was, what Main Street and the Main Street corridor was, and the west side before this whole redevelopment effort started. And certainly the Wilshaw Project is just another example of the great achievements that you've made transitioning through the years. Before we get started, for the benefit of some of the folks who may not know us, my name again is Mike Koyak, and together with my wife Margie, we have a marketing communications business. I do technical and strategic communications, and Margie is the creative writer and creative director in our organization. Also with us here tonight is Ryan Krause, as Mr. President mentioned. Ryan has a website development business. So Margie puts together all the creative parts of the puzzle and works with Ryan, and then they get together and out comes a website that you'll be seeing here tonight. So if we go back to the success side of where you guys are today, when you think about brand development and brand awareness, when you first started in 2005, your brand was really about, let's do something exciting to change the town of Speedway, and let's build some excitement, and let's reach out to the public and together go hand in hand with them and develop something really special. And you've done that. And now here we are in 2018, and things are a little bit different now. You've had a lot of success, so your brand is different now than it was back then. So you want to be able to communicate who you are as a community now to generate more excitement, to keep the excitement building, to attract new residents, new investment, and more visitors to the town of Speedway. So, and a website is one way that you do that. You communicate to the whole world via the website. Currently, the town of Speedway has two websites that are devoted to redevelopment in some aspect. One is the towns.gov website. Those websites are typically devoted to services and elected official information. You also have the existing Redevelopment Commission website, which I don't know if that's on the screen right now or not, but that's the opening page of the current Redevelopment Commission's website. And that website was primarily devoted to putting out information to the public about redevelopment activities. The big piece that was missing was the sales and marketing side. And so that's what we're proposing, or that's what we are doing here with this new website, is including that as a part of the communications to the world for the town of Speedway. We won't go through the whole website tonight because it'll take quite a bit of time if we did that. But Margie's going to go through an overview of the main pages. So I'll turn it over to Margie.
So now that Mike has taken you through the process that led to the development of the new website, I'm just going to provide a quick guided tour of the site, which we're very excited to have launched this past weekend. As Tom mentioned, with a kind of a beta site, and working out a few of the kinks, but it's up and running now. So I'm going to first take a quick look at the primary design and content elements, navigation, and the enhanced functionality of the current site that we just launched. And of course, that all begins with the homepage, which I believe we can put up on the screen. So when you arrive at the new speedwayindiana.com now, you'll be greeted with a really dynamic hero image that we feel really conveys a feeling of the town overall. It sets the stage for the tone and the approach of the whole website. We feel like that image of the kids running, it's outdoors, it's fun, it's family friendly, it's a lot of energy, and it really conveys the diversity of the town as well. Right beneath the hero image, we have 3 images, which are the main sections of the website, which are invest, live, and visit. These sections are how the website is divided essentially for businesses and potential businesses coming to town in the invest section. And then live is for potential residents and current residents to kind of talk about the advantages of the town and, you know, how great it is to live here. And then visit, of course, is for potential tourists and visitors to the town. So overall, the design elements that really came out of we did a brand positioning process with town stakeholders last year and kind of wrapped that up early in 2017. And so what came out of that was that we wanted the style to be bright, fresh, clean, simple, and we based the colors on the familiar black and white of the, you know, racing finish flag. And then we incorporated gold, which is also used in a lot of the town's communications too. There's like a rich gold color that is used by the town of Speedway, the schools, and you know, some other marketing communication pieces. So those are the primary colors throughout the site, and then we've augmented that with really bright, colorful photos throughout. And we had professional photos taken of the town and incorporated some existing photos as well that the SRC had. And so you'll see a lot of photos that really represent the town throughout the site as well, of neighborhoods, businesses, the parks, and candid shots of people and events that occur throughout the year. And we'd like to incorporate more of that, you know, going forward too. So the voice and tone of the site, which also came out of the brand positioning process, is approachable, welcoming, friendly, and casual. You know, that's what everybody kind of felt, that was how the town conducts its business. That's our tone. That's the way we welcome people to town. So we really brought that through in all of the copy throughout the site also. If we could go back to that homepage shot, right under, and we don't have images of, you know, the whole page, but I can talk through a little bit of that. Right under those 3 menu areas of Invest, Live, and Visit, and those are clickable, by the way, so if you click on any of those boxes, it takes you to the menu pages. And then we also have other ways of getting to those pages. But underneath that, we have a little bit of intro copy that highlights the contrast that is really unique to Speedway between being a small town and also having access and being a part of a large, you know, major city of Indianapolis. So the copy underneath those menu items really touts that in a creative way. And it also plays up the town's world-famous role as host of the Indy 500 and the site of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And then scrolling a little bit farther down, there's a section that we've called Speedway Highlights, and it's kind of sectioned off. And it gives people, you know, kind of a quick way to access some interior pages of the site and a couple of exterior pages also, like IMS's site. So, you know, if people are just kind of casually interested, they can scroll down there and they'll see like SRC News with a site to our informational news page. And, you know, they can go to the IMS site. And those grid boxes are also, they can be changed easily if we wanted to highlight different things, you know, down the road a little bit later in the year. But for now, we kind of honed in on the things that we thought were biggest and most important. One of them also is a box going to an education page to tout Speedway's great educational system in schools. So. Also, at the top of the homepage, we have some header icons, and we have sidebars, different ways for people to get around. On icons at the top, we have an icon that is like a building. So if you click on it, you would go to the redevelopment area page, which is a key inner page in the Invest section. And that kind of talks about the Main Street corridor, the Crawfordsville Road corridor. It talks a little bit about the Speedway Redevelopment Commission and the history of it, names the members of the commission, and we also have a space where we can do a post that shows featured properties, one or more featured properties that we want to tout. So that's a key page, and we have a link to that. And also at the top, we have a search function. We have the little calendar goes to our events page where we can post events going on in the next upcoming couple of months for visitors or residents, anybody who wants to check that out. And then we also kind of have a drop-down menu, which is just another way to link to some of our popular links and other links on the site. The footer also has some more business-oriented links. That's where people can get quickly and easily to the document center, where they could see the meeting minutes, agendas, resolutions, and things like that. So that's one click, and it takes them to that page. We also link out to transportation, area transportation sites and hotels, so that they can look up hotels in Speedway. So that's in the center of the footer. And then on the right, we also link them to more like our page. The Speedway Redevelopment page is on the government site, the home page of the government site itself. So it's just, different ways of letting people get around that are easy and intuitive. So then just going to the main sections, when you click on Invest, it takes you to the Invest menu page. And all of the menu pages, Invest, Live, and Visit, are set up like this. And what we've done is we have a grid that is very colorful. It has pictures representing the categories within that section. So we have the page I just was mentioning, the redevelopment areas page. We have workforce snapshot, and on that page there are links to workforce information. So all of the categories within each section are in that grid, and when you actually mouse over it, it's kind of cool. You can see more of the photo because the copy disappears, and you can click on those and get to the inside pages. So that is good for the visitors who are more visually oriented, website surfers. We also have in the sidebar, we have a quick links of all of those categories, so that for those people who are more linear, logical type surfers, they might prefer that type of navigation. And, that might be our site selectors, businessmen, business people, and folks like that. But you never know. Different people have different ways of surfing. So the visual and text-based is just two different ways for people to get around inside the site. We also have in the sidebar a way to connect visitors with Speedway attractions. So we have that under a popular links area, and Speedway and Speedway area. So we have links to downtown Indy, for example, and IMS and other, just popular sites, and give people an easy way to get to those. And every time we link out or to internal pages, we've ensured that it opens a tab at the top of your browser, and so you're not losing track of where you are as you're surfing. So it'll open a new tab, but you can still see the SRC tab and get easily back, so we don't lose people off of the site. So we took that into account. And then just going to the other menu pages, we have the Live menu page, which again has the different categories. We have a community profile. We have a page on excitement that does talk about all of the new and fun things happening around town and on Main Street, and where the copy outlines those things. We have a section on housing. One interesting, and as you guys look through the site and check it out a little bit more fully as we go along here, you might note that we have a page called International Flair. That was something that came out of the brand positioning that is something Speedway offers that you won't see in a lot of small towns. We've got companies here that have their world headquarters here or their national headquarters. It talks a little bit about the sister cities and that program. So that's something that we've highlighted just to bring that out as something really unique and a differentiator for Speedway. And then the visit menu page, that's highlighted by the Main Street page. And when you check the site out, there's a pretty neat feature on that page that is a photo slider that has like 3 slides on it and highlights photographically some of the businesses on Main Street and has captions identifying them so people can see exactly everything that's new and great about the new Main Street. And we also guide them to the Explore Speedway app so that, people will download that and they can get up-to-date information. And another page that I'll call your attention to is a racing attractions page. We have a page about IMS, that just talks about the track and the museum and the golf course at IMS. But we also have a separate racing attractions page where we were able to talk about the Dallara IndyCar factory and the interactive zone that they have there, and the Speedway indoor karting facility, and also the Indy racing experience. So that was something that we felt was important because it really it helps solidify Speedway's positioning as the racing capital of the world. So that was another important page in that section. And then there's also, I just wanted to touch upon, there were a lot of functionality enhancements that we took into consideration when building the site. And I do have a handout that I can give you all afterwards, but some of the things we really wanted to be sure that this site did was to streamline the navigation and the site size. And in fact, the page count was pretty much cut in half from the old site to this new site. So we've consolidated some topics and just streamlined it, and obviously wanted to highlight some of the key community attributes that are important to businesses that are looking to relocate here or start up here or expand here in Speedway. So that whole Invest section really provides a lot of up-to-date, accessible data and documents for those people. And provides current information on incentives and resources. We've also highlighted key area employers and industries. We have a page for that. We've made the contact information very easy to find and utilize. In the sidebar, we direct people to Tim Gropp and Tim Ramian, and we also have a contact page where if people want to send a message or ask a question, they can easily do that as well. And then we also are sharing the latest development news. We tried to really facilitate ease of user experience by just having everything 1 to 2 clicks away from the home page so that people, aren't spending a lot of time hunting for what they're looking for. It's easy to find. We're mobile optimized. We're also search engine optimized and did a lot of back-end SEO descriptions and meta descriptions so that it's easy for Google to find the site, and it's easy to update also. So the old site, for example, would have photo collages. So if you wanted to change out a photo, it was difficult because they were kind of grouped together. So with this site, if you want to change a photo, if you want to change, a line of copy, it's very easy to go in and update things or change things. So that was also really important because it makes it much easier to maintain the site. So, in conclusion, the website has many features to explore that really help position Speedway as a great place to do business, to live, and to visit. And we hope you'll take a little bit more time to check out all of the pages and go through the site and share it with your friends and business associates, and spread the word about the new communications tool for the Speedway Redevelopment Commission. So,
Well, thank you, Margie. I did want to comment. I was involved in the brand positioning exercise, and it was a rather exhaustive session with a good, diverse group of stakeholders from the town of Speedway. And I'm just really impressed at how you've captured many of those comments and many of their thoughts about our community, whether it's investing, whether it's living here, the educational aspect of it. And I like the colors. I think the overall design is nice. Our old site was a little difficult to maneuver. So the maneuverability and the navigation, Ryan, is excellent. And being able, couple of clicks from one page to another, getting back to the home page, I think that's really critical. And, having the ability to view that on a handheld or mobile device is also exceptionally helpful. Because I don't think there are that many new computers that are getting purchasased anymore. I mean, everything is getting done on these mobile devices.
Mobile is really critical.
Yeah, it really is. Particularly for the younger generation, and the image of the children playing is, it's excellent.
Good.
And I think that shows that we're beginning to see a change in demographics here in our community. I see younger families moving in. Well, Brody and his wife and 2 daughters just moved down the street. So it's good to have, that younger generation moving back in.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have any questions of either Margie or Mike?
Or Brian?
Yeah, I just have
Or
one.
Ryan?
What was the web address? 'Cause I went to the beta site and it was,
It is the same address that it was before, so it's www.speedwayindiana.com. We maintained that, and it's intuitive and,
sure.
yeah,
Okay,
good
thank you.
URL, so.
Any other questions?
I had one.
Yeah, Terry?
Who will do the updates? Because the worst thing about web pages is stuff is a month or 2 past. And, you mentioned hotels. We're going to have one that's not too in the distant future that needs to be added as well. So,
I see Tim smiling.
is that,
We actually set this up so the staff can keep it up to date in real time, because so we don't have to go to an outside source. So once we get a press release, Ryan's going to teach us everything we need to know, and if we get stuck, we call Ryan. So
Oh, the expert. So we don't
Ryan-
need to know web development at all.
No, it's I believe it's WordPress based,
WordPress is a platform.
so pretty familiar with that, but we'll be able to update it in real time. So as soon as we get a press release or an event coming up through the chamber or whatnot, we can put that on the website. Or if a new property comes up and we want to feature it, Ryan will teach us how to do that, so we're not dependent on an outside source for that.
well, it's taking off old stuff.
Yeah, that's the
that's
critical
it.
aspect as well.
That's the worst thing about
Yeah.
websites.
Yep. Well, with the content being, reduced by half, and the number of pages, et cetera, sure, there's still a lot of great content there, but it's not as unwieldy as the older site was.
I personally like the linear stuff on the right side.
Well,
I figured it out and it kept popping up and like, oh, okay.
yeah, there's a little bit of everything for everyone, which is a nice design, an excellent design.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Well, I'm really excited about the launch of the new site, and I'm really excited about Tim Ramian getting trained on how to keep that current and updated. That's one of those provisions, all of the duties as required, I'm not mistaken. We have one other item of new business to discuss, and that is we had solicited proposals for the 4300 Gilman Street property, requesting, this RFP requesting proposals, and the deadline for submittal was noon today. So today, what we will do is we'll formally open those proposals, and I don't know whether it's proposal or proposals. So I'll turn that over to Tim to handle the official opening.
Yep, I forgot a pen tonight, but I remembered my letter opener, so one step out of the game. Thank you, Bob. We put out the RFP, I'm trying to remember when it exactly was, I have it in front of me. The end of January, we had all the proper notices, 2 times, 7 days apart. We got confirmation of those notices being published. We actually had a really good response to people picking up the RFP. We had 8 or 9 that specifically requested it. And prior to the noon deadline today, we received 2 sealed bids for the project. So what we'll do is we will open these tonight, take a quick look at them, and then set them aside for review. My recommendation would be that probably Tim, Bob, and myself take a look at them to make sure everything's in order. And then if everything is, that we either have an exec session, maybe the end of the week, to go over the two and then get back together possibly next Monday before the council meeting and take whatever action, whether it's accepting or rejecting all bids or whatever we decide to do at that point, so we can at least let the two proposals know which way we're going to be going. So
Sounds like an acceptable plan.
So we will open these two. This one's not totally sealed. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it
Yes, it
sure
is.
is. That's why they call it a sealed bid.
All right. So we'll open the first one. This one, the buyer is MFG Holdings LLC. It looks, just real quick, it looks like a 25 to 35,000 square foot wholesale florist distribution warehouse, 45 jobs, offer price $128,000. So, and then a bunch of other details we'll take a look at.
Okay.
So, put that aside. You're welcome to pass those down and take a quick look if you like. All right, go to the other side. The second proposal was dropped off by Michael Weisauer of Cushman Wakefield, which is a broker firm in Indianapolis. Says undisclosed client at this time. Buyer is listed as William S. Abel Jr. and/or its assigners or successors. Purchase price $405,000. Closing within 15 days once all contingencies have been satisfied. And what are they building? Don't quite see what the project is.
There's no explanation.
I gotta read.
Good.
Am I missing this somewhere?
I wonder if was that part of the RFP that they had to have a?
Yeah, we're supposed to know what they're, I mean, I've talked to him offline, not part of the project, so I kind of know what the project is, but I'm not seeing.
It's not formally listed as proposal.
We'll have to follow up on this one. looks like.
Clarification on that.
Oh, wait. Yeah, we're gonna have to follow up on this one, with, define what the project is, so. Is that all right there, Bob?
I'm sorry.
Mr. Clutter? We're not seeing where it defines what the project was on this
Take
one,
under
other than the
advisement.
purchase, so.
It may just be a clarification point that you
We'll
want to
do a
make.
clarification
Yeah.
with Mr. Weisauer,
Yes.
Okay.
so. Everything else looks in order, purchase price and all the contingencies. We'll have to review all those contingencies.
Sure.
See what those all mean, so.
Well-
We'll take these, we recommend the SRC takes these under advisement tonight and have us review them.
We'll definitely do that. We'll have Tim, and Bob do a thorough review of these proposals, and then just let us know when, you can intend to get us together to
We'll try to do the turnaround pretty
make
quick on
final
this.
determination.
He's in a second.
He's coming right here.
Does anyone else have any questions about the formal opening of the proposals? I think Tim has outlined the time frame and the due diligence that's necessary prior to the commission making any decisions.
I meet with Mr. Jensen tomorrow, and I'll make sure Mr. Clutter gets a copy, so we can, because if we do decide to meet towards the end of the week, we'll need to get that scheduled fairly
Yeah,
soon
real
to
soon.
meet the 48-hour notice.
Great. Great. Anybody have any questions, comments? Great. Thank you, Tim. Now we'll move on to the director's report. I think you've, touched on a majority of what has been going on, but do you have any other items to report to us?
Just one announcement, the State of the Town is this Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Media Center at IMS. So we hope you can all make it out to it.
Yeah. Anybody who has not attended that before, I'd encourage you to attend. It's a neat event. You have the immediate past president and also the current president of the council, giving every attendee the opportunity to find out what we've accomplished last year as a town and what some of the initiatives and goals are for the upcoming year.
Time and date again.
And that's this Saturday at 9 o'clock. That's the 24th.
Correct.
I believe that's
Yeah,
correct.
February 24th. And, yeah, the Media Center, you can enter right in off of 16th Street, and they'll have, directional traffic showing you where to park. It's just north of the scoring tower. So it's also a neat facility to see if nobody's ever been up there. So, I believe that brings us to adjournment, unless anyone has...
I have one more announcement.
Yes.
Just want to remind everyone that the annual Lions Club Pancake Breakfast is Saturday, March 3rd, from 9 to 12 at the high school.
So you could attend the State of the State and still...
No, March 3rd.
Oh, March 3rd? Oh, okay. I don't know, I've got 2 basketball games to go to. I'm not sure that I can do that. It's the grandkids,
Yeah.
Great, and I do want to ask everybody to continue to support our Speedway businesses. It's a great community to do business in. It's a great community to live in. It's a great community to be educated in, Terry. And I can say that since I am a Speedway High School graduate, and I think that prepared me well for my college years and also my career, which is now behind me, thank goodness. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second?
Second.
And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.